we don't fit under this bell curve. There is no food pyramid that solves the problem for everyone. There is no one way. Diet is not something you do for a period of time. It's how you live your life. And you have to discern what's right for you. I think it's important that we don't get stuck into our current 3D reality of we have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and have snacks, and meal times are this time, and these are the foods that we need to eat and everybody should eat it. You need to listen to your own body and find what's right for you. And that begins with what I encourage everybody to do, which is to touch and play and smell and interact with your food. Treat food like that living organism that it is. You know, Mother Earth is alive. The food that we eat is alive. And when you start really respecting that food and you start looking and touching and playing with it, you begin to feel that energy, that vibrational energy that it emits. And you understand what you're bringing into your body. And then you can feel those subtle differences. And you can start to discern what those physical symptoms that you're feeling. Was it the food that I ate? Was it the way that I slept? What, you know, you start to have more of a understanding of the way your body works. And it makes it easy for you then to adjust no matter what environment you're in or what emotional state you're in, because we are going to go through the range of human emotion. And so it's important to know that, like, am I eating because I'm emotional? Why am I reaching for this food? What is my body asking for? What is my emotional body asking for? And so, you know, I think it's a very, you know, important aspect, you know, to really respect. So I actually want to take a moment right now and just take a breath. It's one of the things that I like to do when dealing with food, because as I mentioned, not only does food have energy and should we respect it, but the emotion that we put into our cooking is reflected back at us. I don't know if anybody is, have you heard of the movie or the book, Like Water for Chocolate? Has anybody on Facebook heard of? Yeah, it's a beautiful novel and movie that came out of Mexico sometime in the mid-90s. And it was one of those things where we were told to watch this movie in Spanish class. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And it ended up changing my life. And it's all about the fact that the food reflects our emotions, the state that we are in, the emotional state that we are in when we are eating and cooking, it's coming back at us. And so I just encourage everybody to like think about that, like especially when you're serving others. If you're not in your best self, like make sure you take that moment, take a breath, and put that intentional love into your food so that even if you may not be in the best emotional state, that you're not serving that to somebody else. So, you know, when food is serviced, and especially to yourself, even back to yourself, it doesn't have to be for others. It should even be if you're cooking for yourself. So just remember to put a proper intention into it. So let's take a deep breath. Think about an intention for yourself.
Nice.
Well, thank you. So, you know, the root chakra, you know, is obviously our foundation, as we've been talking about stability, safety. I also associate it with our moon cycle as women, right? This is where we release blood and it goes back to the earth. It goes back to nature. And when I think about those, it makes me think about, you know, not just where our root chakra is right at our base, also our sacral chakra and our relationship to the earth, you know, that up and down that Delia and Jenny mentioned last week. And when I think about this, I think about, you know, our digestive system. You know, this is a book that I'm writing where I talk about the balance between intuition and evidence and using our gut, this gut microbiome and our body's microbiome to really have this relationship between evidence and intuition, and also our relationship to the earth. But this is our foundation, right? Our gut is the foundation of not only our digestive health, but our immunity as well.
Mm.
And I mean, talk about timing right now, right? Like we're all about immunity and digestive health. And we're all about this concept of being in our best health. And health is wealth. Food is medicine. And when we are not in our most optimum health, when we are weakened, even in as simple as like a pain in the knee or a minor cut or scratch, it's amazing how much of our attention is diverted to that injury or to that pain. And so this is where I, constantly talk about health being our wealth, because this is our seat of power. And when our foundation is strong in our gut health and our immunity, then we can build from there. We release that fear of being diverted elsewhere, of giving away our power, of not being in our optimum health. And it's really interesting that most of the foods that we use for gut health and immunity are all roots, right? So here's horseradish. I just want to show, like, because I think there's a lot of things that, we can do. We're going to get to the chocolate because that's always fun. But I want to also, like, really talk about these different roots. Here's ginger. I think we all know this one really well. Turmeric, which I'm so glad we can find fresh in the store now. That used to be hard.
Yeah.
What I also think is really interesting, like garlic bulbs, right? Just getting a bulb of garlic. Now, these are all bulbs and roots grown into the earth. And so I like to keep batches of fire cider brewing, right? Like you can make your own fire cider. And it's essentially all those roots that I just showed you. And this is one of those witchy potions, one of these witchy potions. Yeah, you end up with those roots, you strain it out, and you end up like, I keep lots of varieties of fire cider. Here's a different one, I use different spices, but it's those essential roots. And one of my other favorite ones that I forgot to show, which is chili pepper. These are chili peppers I dried myself, actually. Grew a chili pepper plant, ended up with too many chili peppers, and I just dried them.
Love it.
The chili pepper being red like the chakra. But I think that what's important is when we think about the chakras, like there's the color that we think about, red, but there's more than that. I think it's like, think about what it is, how it relates to ourselves in the earth. So like rooting down into the earth. And everybody can make fire cider. Everyone can make it. And this is the homemade witchy brew. Improves your digestion. It fortifies your immunity. It keeps you, just healthy and alive. Have you ever drank